Hey everybody, Matt here from Matt's Movies, Music and More, welcoming you to this week's movie review episode. The film I'm talking about today is a movie that came out in 1984 and it's a teen comedy. It's a movie that I had heard of a couple of years ago, never seen before, and it's the 1984 movie Making the Grade, which is directed by Dorian Walker and it stars Judd Nelson, Dana Olson and Ronald Lacey. Now, the movie is essentially about Palmer Woodrow, who's played by Dana Olson. He's this rich, preppy school kid who rarely attends class, and he's been expelled from numerous prep schools. And his parents are travelling out and about internationally, and they've told him, look, unless you go to school and you get like your diplomas and everything like that, we're going to cut you off. So he comes up with an idea, which is, how about if he pays someone else to go and study on his behalf and get the diplomas for him, and then he'll be able to do it. So he bumps into a guy called Eede Keaton, played by Judd Nelson. And Judd Nelson is this con artist who is kind of on the run from this loan shark named Dice, played by Dice Clay. And so what happens is, at a random meeting, Eede meets Palmer. And so Palmer tells Eede, look, I need someone to pretend to be me, so enroll into the prep school. And he said, I'll give you $10,000 and I'll give you a Porsche to drive as well. So basically it means that Palmer Woodrow can then go skiing in Europe. So really the movie is essentially that. I'm not really going to say too much more about the movie because, like I say, it's one of these films that it's kind of an unusual one, but I thought it was good for what it was. It's nothing special. I really want to sort of get into the actors and people involved in the movie, such as this film is the first movie which Dice Clay appears with dice in his name. So he's kind of doing his typical Dice Clay stick, and he's really good in the movie. Ronald Lacey is a guy who you'll know from Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark movie, as well as Crucible of Terror, to name a few things. And yeah, what's interesting about this movie is that Dana Olson, who plays Palmer Woodrow, he's in this movie with another guy called Dan Schneider, who plays Blim. And he's a memorable character, but the two of them have worked together in subsequent years writing TV shows for Nickelodeon. So it's an interesting direction that they both went into, given that their acting careers were so-so, you know. But I thought this movie was quite fun. I mean, this is a year before The Breakfast Club came out, so Judd Nelson wasn't exactly the home name. But I thought it was okay for what it was. It was funny in places. It was interesting, actually, because this movie's been produced by Cannon. So if you love the Cannon movies by Menachem Golem and Yoram Globus, you'll like this movie. It feels like it fits really in there. What's interesting about this movie is some of the songs that are used in the film, which really caught my eye, which surprised me, which is one of the songs in the movie is Body Talk by Imagination. And I love that song. I'm a big fan of Imagination. I think they're a great band. But there's two songs in this movie by the 80s synth pop band Reflex, who I really like a lot as well. Reflex is a band that is best remembered for their 1984 single, The Politics of Dancing. Sadly, it's not that song that's used in this movie. Instead, they've used two songs. They use Flex It, which is a B-side, and they've also used a song called Something About You, which is from the Politics of Dancing album. And when I heard both songs in the movie, I was like, bloody hell, they're playing Reflex in this. I was like, brilliant, because I'm a real big fan of Reflex. Got into them in the last couple of years by buying their albums. And so to hear these songs in the films, the fact that I believe something about that Canon with their music rights, because Reflex also appear on another soundtrack to another Canon movie, which is Breakin' or Breakdance, which the song Cut It is on there by Reflex. But yeah, the music's really good in this. I thought Judd Nelson was really good in the movie as well. He's very believable as this kind of con artist, and he does look very much like John Bender in The Breakfast Club with his hair and the way it's all done. So what did I think of Making the Grade overall? It's not a standout comedy. It's not the best film ever made. It's enjoyable for what it is. It's nothing special. It's kind of far-fetched in places, given that Eede is kind of this bumbling con artist, an idiot, but Palmer, you don't really like him at all. But you know, it is what it is. It's a typical 80s comedy. So yeah, I suppose that's making the grade for you. So I'm not going to say any more about it. Have you guys heard of it? Have you seen it? Are you fans of Judd Nelson? Are you fans of the bands I mentioned, Imagination and Reflex? Get into contact with me and let me know. It'd be great to hear some feedback from you guys. Don't forget to check out all the other videos on Matt's Movies, Music and More, and also check out our social media pages. It will tell you all the upcoming and previous videos that we've done on this channel. So thank you very much, everybody, and all the very best to you. See ya.